Mayor's joining now. And just a reminder from Attorney Maroney, you're not allowed to mute the session while it's being live streamed.
Okay. What I call the Madison County Budget Committee going on see 8:38, running a little late. I need to make a motion, make a determination on the record. Warner Turner makes a motion. Second. I'm gonna have a roll call vote. Warner Turner.
Yes.
Ann White.
Yes.
Doug Stevenson, yes. Jason Thompson online. Okay, we just have three members, so I know my colors. We're good. Okay. Right now?
We cannot. She just.
Okay, I'm still not. Okay, we got. Stacy here, McClellan, and we're gonna move ahead. We're not making any kind of, we're not voting to approve it. Just come down.
Sir, I'm unable to hear Commissioner Stevenson.
And, we have the salaries, which is the same for, both secretaries there. Time personnel, education, incentive.
We're gonna take that out this
Need
year.
to take that out.
Check it out for this year and next year.
Yes.
Other salaries, commission, we got 93,600. Still a little more about it. That's one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring that up.
I just put a question mark. How's that?
Good question. Okay, Social Security, we got that. Stop loss has gone up. We raised out $10 life insurance. Okay, medical insurance. That's actually gone down.
No, that went up.
Mhm.
I only had one person in there last year.
Okay, good. We're trying to. Back to that.
I'm talking-
Okay. Other contracts.
Well,
Did we
I
do
was
that?
talking to Dayton and, he said that if we could take that down to 1,000, that would help. And I think we would be fine with 1,000. I think we can make that work. Right. Right, but now that we've got that, we shouldn't use it.
Okay, well, let's put that in. Right.
She's got hers, like, spread out,
Okay.
yeah.
So the major.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Ladies, can y'all think of anything else that we need to look at? Okay, like I said, we're not gonna approve anything. Go from there, so, okay. I think that's.
Hold on.
It came unplugged. What is this?
Karen, you okay?
Okay, Matt, can you hear us now?
Yeah, it's a lot better.
Okay, we good to go?
Yeah,
Stacy?
you're good.
Okay. I don't see anything else. Ann, we got you. Did you have a?
The only question I have is, can we spread it out? If you look at the, numbers, like, back up there where it said $1,000, well, then you've got an increase of 1878, which does not.
That's a, yeah,
So
decrease.
there's.
That's a decrease.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. You need to be able to see the,
Yeah, where's the other?
you need to see the,
Because that is
the
really.
other tab
There you
there.
go.
Yeah, you need to see that.
I mean,
Okay,
I
we
know
can do,
what it is.
we can do that. I should be able to do that. Okay, not a problem. Okay, I think we're good to go then, unless, ladies, y'all got any more questions, anything? Okay, I think we're good. Okay, we got Mayor Harris on the line.
Yes.
Mayor Harris,
Right here, buddy, waiting on you.
thank you very much. We appreciate it. Let's get down to it and sort of see where you are here, and we'll go through this. And
Let me ask you a question before you start.
Yeah.
Doug, I know it's still up in the air about these raises, but can I, as an official, refuse the raise and it not be budgeted?
I'm gonna turn that over to Karen and let her.
That was discussed yesterday, Mayor, and I'm confirming, because Commissioner Deaton asked that, it's mandated by the state to be put in the budget, but his question was, could it be a contribution or donation back to the county? So I have reached out to ask that question to see what can be done.
Well, and I would like the question to be asked, can the official refuse it? And the reason is that if we get it, and if it's the only way and we get it, I mean, I'm gonna write a check back, but I'm gonna have to, well, let me think. I started to say I'd have to pay income tax on it, but if it's a contribution back to the government, that's deductible, correct?
It would be correct, but I will ask if it can be refused. I'll ask that for sure for you, okay?
Okay, all right.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Let's go on down here. Oh, I'm sorry, you go up. I'm sorry. Okay, so we got that 3.46 that we're gonna determine,
Mm-hmm.
you know, what we're doing there. Insurance stop losses increased there. Regetta's salary is the same. Communication, let's see, you reduced that 500. Travel, that's been reduced. Office supplies been reduced. Others, that looks good to me, Mayor. I mean, that's a decrease of 0.62 and not even counting the 3.46. So, do you have any other questions or comments?
No, I'm good. Whatever y'all want to do.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Mayor, so much.
All right, son.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, we got the DME on the line.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, DME,
I'm here.
good job there. Okay, let's see what you got here. Okay, we got, let's go down the bottom first down there. I know you don't have much wiggle room, and I appreciate you, 1.72, you know, that's great. I appreciate that. Is there anything else that you want to make a comment on, Tony, or?
Yeah, I want to know where the 1.72, how you got that?
I'll let Karen and Michelle answer that, because it's
Okay.
negative of that. So I don't know. It looks like the contracts with private agencies have gone.
Well, no, the reason that I ask is because my spreadsheet shows minus 3%.
Oh, really?
I
But I
believe
think-
that after the benefits were added, Tony, is where the, increase, you must have had some change. Well, I know we had increased stop loss was an increase.
Okay,
Medical admin was an
Yeah.
increase. but-
Everything else looks good, Tony. I mean,
okay.
bad.
So that makes sense to me. When I was doing the budget, I was just using all of the benefits, just last year's benefits and salaries, you know, all the same, and reducing. And that's where I came up with the 3. Okay, but
I
that makes
appreciate it so much. You dropping that travel down. That's excellent. 2,800. I appreciate that. And the contracts with private That's great. So, but I mean, we don't really have any control over that stop loss and everything at this point. So,
Right.
so
Yeah, it's pretty bare bones.
yeah. So no, that looks fantastic. We appreciate that. And, you got any other comments or anything?
No, I'm good.
Okay, well, sounds good. We're, like I said, we're not approving anything today. Now that I am telling departments this, and I told Misty this yesterday, is if worst comes to worst, which we have a 2-month stoppage, then we may have to do something else. But I mean, you and I've had that conversation too, I believe. So I just want to I don't want to do a disservice and not bring that to your attention. So I don't know what we would do, but I'm just.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of hard to do something with that budget.
Right. Yeah, absolutely no question. Absolutely no question. So just wanted to make you aware of that. So.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Tony. Appreciate it. Bye. Okay. We got Bart on. Bart Walls.
I just texted him.
Thank you. What do you say? Oh, he did. Okay. If you got in here on time, I don't know. I've already lost my cool once today.
We can't do this anymore. Because mommy said that we couldn't.
Hey, she'll make me mad because she got in my office.
I'm relocating my office. Oh, it's really outside.
Very angry. I was very angry.
You know, I'd forgotten all about that. It'll be fine.
That's 2 years.
Yeah, that'll be fine. Okay, thank you. I appreciate you reminding me of this.
For that. It was my office.
Of course.
Like, let me know if I can.
Not good. Okay, now, I want to ask a question just so I make sure poor Bart gets on here. We got the 5-year moving average of 7.5. Now I know that could be tweaked, so I assume that if we have a lower percentage that we have put in 7.48, I would assume, I'm just using that as an example, that we put that 0.02 into general fund. Is that sort of what?
If we lower the pennies.
If we lower the
That's what he's
pennies,
talking about.
if we lower the pennies, I'm saying if his average comes out
To where
now,
you can lower it.
where he can lower it, then what we need to do is put those pennies in there. Because what I got in mind, Karen, I mean, and guys, this is what I got in mind. We got an opportunity here to move the 2 pennies from maintenance of effort into general fund. We talked about that. But if we do not have to move that entire 7 pennies out of debt service, that seems to be I mean, if we see that, hey, we could get by with 5.5, that seems to me to be a better. Or am I thinking correctly on that?
Exactly.
Okay. Well, all I'm saying is, I think we just need to come up with a good number on general fund, what we do, but I want to leave that money in debt service. But what Karen had brought up to attention is, what's the point of us borrowing that $2.5 million for us to move those pennies out, or those other ones? I mean, it's sort of like your question, Warner. I mean, that doesn't. Now I got thinking about it, that really doesn't make much sense.
And the interest now is just real
Well,
low.
yes, if it's in the general fund.
Do what now?
If it's in the general fund,
Right.
we got some people.
Well, the only problem I see on that, I mean, y'all is, and this is going to happen when we talk about educational capital this afternoon. The problem is they're going to come up and we need to get a definite answer on the buses. So in other words, and I had that conversation with them the other day.
I reached out last Friday for you.
Right. And what I'm saying is, they say, well, is there a couple of these buses we could kick down the road for, 16 or 17 years rather than 15 years? Now they're going to say, well, we got into that problem, but I said, this is a little bit different circumstance than y'all just voluntarily deciding to do it. I mean, this is a different situation. So that's the only thing that I could see where we would need to even consider borrowing that money for those buses. I mean,
I
not
hope
that,
to have the information on what the cost would be.
Right.
For a borrowing. Like I said, I reached out both ways.
so then the other thing is what they're doing on the special ed buses. Is Bart on there yet?
Not yet.
On the special ed buses, he told me they need either 5 or 6. I'm sorry, I don't remember. And those cost about $100,000 a piece on the educational, those special ed buses. He said he had $100,000 that he could find in his budget for this year, not capital, but just he could find it, to do that. But the problem that we got is, Karen, is we've got to buy these, and you'll hear this from Eric here in a minute. We got to buy these air packs. I mean, those are already expired, and he's got to have air packs when they go in and fight fires and everything. And we got the grant, and you want to comment on that?
Sure,
for a
the money
second?
from the governor, which is about $1,265,000 for Madison County that we would be entitled to. There has been discussion and determination by the capital committee that be used for capital needs. So we know that Eric needs the breathing apparatus, which totals $775,000. So the discussion was to use it for the breathing apparatus and the remainder be used for buses. But we're trying to determine how many buses as to what is required. So perhaps that money would cover all of the buses, and then educational capital could be used, set aside or used for something else. Because we also know that we're facing furnishings and technology needs for the 2 high schools, which are supposed to be completed and brought online July 2021.
Switch to the next budget.
Right. But according to Superintendent Washington, the technology needs and the furnishings, particularly the technology, some of that has to go in at the time.
All right, we have Bart Walls on now.
Okay, we got Bart. Got Bart on?
Yep.
Yes.
Hey, Bart Walls.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Good. How's everybody?
Doing great, great. Let's get down to it here on the,
all right,
sort of see where we are. And Bart, what we got down now, this is very, very critical. Okay, I want to make you highly aware of this.
Okay.
Let's go to the tax rate sheet first, if you don't mind. I'm gonna go to the tax rate sheet first, and this to me is critical as critical can be.
okay. Hang on just a second. Matt, if you can hear this, I'm still experiencing some lag stuff. So like the whole thing that whatever Doug just said, I didn't hear. Should I get on a phone call audio instead of trying to use the audio through the webinar?
Yeah, look at that second invitation that was sent to you after you registered and dial into that 1-800 number and put in the attendee ID, and audio will be a lot better.
All right. Second email from Sarah.
Correct.
All right, let me do that right quick because I don't want to miss anything that's said.
We'll troubleshoot those wireless issues out there at a later date.
Welcome to Zoom. Enter your meeting ID followed by pound. Enter your participant ID followed by pound. Otherwise, just press pound to continue. Please enter the meeting password followed by pound.
Is it Morse code, you think?
Join the meeting as an attendee and will be skipped throughout the meeting. This meeting is being recorded.
Being recorded.
Oh, I thought it said it's real important.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
All
Yeah,
right, let me
good.
turn my volume down. Okay, how's that?
I can hear you.
Sounds
fine.
good.
Awesome. Okay. All right, go ahead.
Bart, what I wanted to discuss with you is we on the tax rate sheet right there in the middle, you got 7.51 pennies. Now this is
Right.
I mean, this is a 5-year moving average. And I guess in the past, have we determined that? Is that something that we do at the finance or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
What-
so every year we have to fill out a 5-year average form and submit it to the comptroller. And I have to sign it. I think the finance director has to sign it, and I think the mayor maybe has to sign it. But anyway, and so this 5-year average, it is as low as we can possibly get it. It's almost to the dollar.
Okay, so this 7.51 is absolutely correct then.
Yes, I believe. Well, I'll pull my 5-year average from the past, and if you'll bear with me just a second, I might be able just to pull that up right now.
That'd be great, Bart. That'd be very helpful.
Okay, budget.
Bart, I think you see where I'm headed with this. Anything,
Yeah,
anything that we can do right there, and then we could put that into general fund, that would be very, very helpful.
Right, exactly. I am not seeing my 5-year average jumping out at me right off the bat. I know we've got it. Doug, I'm gonna have to find that. I thought it was on my server, but I'm not seeing it on my server. It may be in a file.
Warner asked the question, Bart, very good question. He said, you know, your proposed fund balance right there for 2021 would be 10,232,000 as compared to the 19 original 8,750,000. Is that, can you want to go into that a little bit and explain why that's going up? Is that?
All right, say that again now.
We got the proposed fund balance right next to it is 10,232,944 for 2021. And the original fund balance of 1920, which is next to that, would be 8,750,000. You want to explain the increase on that a little bit, or do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, our revenue has been going up some because of the gas tax, which let's see, 3 years ago, it went up by about $500,000. Then it went up by another 200,000, and then about another 200,000 for this year, for a total of annually about $900,000. And I have not increased my spending by the same rate. So some of that revenue that's coming in, I'm not spending it at that rate. So that's why my fund balance has been going up.
Okay. But just to make the committee aware, your 5-year moving average, really, how does that play into does it play into your 5-year moving average?
It does not. 5 year.
I just want to make sure that everybody understood that. Okay.
Yes, that's right. The 5-year average is based upon the property tax that's contributed to my budget. It's not based on gas tax or anything. And I did just now find my 5-year average. And so my 5-year average from that we filled out last year from fiscal year 14-15 through fiscal year 18-19, the 5-year average was $1,914,167. And in 1920, last year's budget, or the budget that we're in right now, it was funded at $1,928,499. So there's about $14,000 there of excess, I guess, if you want to call it excess, you know, that could possibly be cut out. That would, you know, be able to be used to go back into the general fund.
Okay, that's what we're trying to.
But I'll absolutely look at this because we're going to be refiguring this 5-year average with the, you know, because we have to turn that in as well for this fiscal year. And I'll work with Karen and we'll try to make that.
Again, Bart, was it 14,000?
Yeah, it's 14,300, something like that. Yeah.
14,332. Okay. We're just trying to.
We've always kept it pretty close.
Right. Well, even to the third decimal point makes a difference this year.
Yeah, I understand. Absolutely.
I don't know what I would know. I mean, how does that change the 7.5 I mean, is that 0.06? So what you're saying is it to the good or to the, when I say to the good or to the bad?
Is this the number that he's got for this year?
Bart, let me just clarify. The number that you got for this year is the 1928,499.
That was the number that we turned in on the worksheet that was sent to the state for fiscal year 1920.
Okay, is that the number?
I have not calculated it for the proposed budget because I don't have a current property tax estimate of what we might be getting.
Okay.
Well, we can use our numbers.
That's not a really good number, is it? Okay, I got you. Okay. Well, at least I know we're going to be real tight, and it's not going to be very much wiggle room there. So,
yeah,
if I'm saying that right.
Yeah, we've been to Mike Nichols' credit, he was pretty fiscally responsible as far as trying to keep that as low as possible, so there wasn't any excess.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Is there anything else that you wanted to comment on capital or anything, or just any kind of comments? You got some time here.
Yeah. The only thing that I would point out is that because of the uncertainty of the gas tax revenues, I have put on hold any paving that I had planned for this year that I had in my budget, because the county paving that I've been doing with some of that money that I guess additional money we've been getting because of the gas tax. And with those revenues going down, I didn't feel comfortable going ahead and starting, $1 million paving contract.
Right.
So I held up with that. And then for the proposed budget for 2021, I removed any paving that we were planning to do for next year. And when I say that, that doesn't mean all paving. There would still be some state aid paving that we might be able to do. But any paving of some of our secondary roads, like we did last year, we paved part of Weldon Lassiter, D Street, Old Humboldt, Lewis, a little piece of Cooper Anderson, roads like that. I've taken that out of my budget for this coming year just because of the uncertainty of the gas tax revenues. If those gas tax revenues come back strong, then I might come back and ask for a budget amendment to put some money back into my budget to do some paving. But the overall, if you look at my budget, you can see that I've pretty much gone through and cut at least 3% out of everything.
Right.
I did have to increase a couple of line items, my engineering and some things like that. And even that 3% cut out of my overall budget does include taking the paving out. So if you go down to 68,000,
right,
you'll see I took it. Those numbers are kind of hard to understand because, like the 404 hot mix paving, that includes my gas tax money to pave. It also includes my state aid money to pave. And the state, every year, they give me another $260,000 to go into that state aid paving.
right.
So my revenue on the state aid side is going up, but I've cut out some of my gas tax money because that's going down. So anyway, it's kind of complicated. It's a little easier to kind of draw a picture of it.
How difficult is it? I'm just asking out of curiosity, and this is how difficult is it for you to, let's just say that the gas tax starts coming in, you're seeing an upward trend. How hard is it for you to make plans to, let's say, okay, I'm gonna end up doing Cooper Anderson now, but we put that on hold. Is that something that it takes you a pretty good amount of time to get up and going on? I'm just asking out of curiosity.
You mean from the time I decide, hey, let's do this, to the time that we're actually able to do it?
Right. Yeah. Right. And when you see a positive uptrend, like on the gas tax money, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it takes a few months because what I do, I work with our engineer and they put together a little bid package, and we have to put it out for bid, and we have to open the bids and have a pre-construction meeting. And so that all that stuff, it just takes time. So it would be probably at least a couple of months, if not 3 months.
Well,
of course, you have to take into consideration the engineer's schedule and the contractor's schedule as well.
I mean, what had you originally planned for this year money-wise? I see the cuts, but do you have it right off the top of your head how much money you were actually going to leave, for use of a better phrase, unspent because of all these projects, delaying them, I guess?
Well, for this year, fiscal year 1920, we were planning on doing about $800,000 or $900,000 worth of paving, and so I put that on hold, and we have not started the process of the engineering on that.
Okay.
Because I would have started that around March, and that was the time that everything kind of started going south. As far as the pandemic.
Is that going to cause you a backlog? Is it going to cause you a backlog problem, let's say in 2 or 3 years? I'm just asking. Is that going to cause a?
Well, what we'll end up doing is those roads that we were planning on paving, we will push those off probably a year. And then we'll just have to continue to do some maintenance to those roads as we've been doing to kind of keep them in the best shape that we can until we can pave them.
You see where I'm headed. I didn't want you to get into a rock and a hard place, a couple years down the road going, oh gosh, we got, I'm going to have to make some major changes to be able to handle that. Warner has a question.
Art, when you talk about less gas tax, are you talking about people buying less gas, reason taxes going down? Because taxes don't go down just because gas price went down, does it?
That's right. The gas tax not based on price, it's based on volume.
Right.
So it's based on the volume of gas that's purchased. It's not based upon the price of gas. So the gas tax, the gas prices could go down to 50 cents a gallon. We would still have the same amount of revenue per gallon of gas. The price doesn't affect it.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Bart, I can't think of anything else unless somebody else has another question. I think we're just determining what the 5-year moving average, and we'll get that taken care of, and then that'll help us right there. So we'll see where we are.
I will get together with Karen on that, and we'll make sure that we get it down as close as we can possibly get it.
Okay. Is there any possible way that you could let us borrow $2 million? I'm just asking. I know we can't transfer it out of your fund, but is there some way that you could maybe appropriate that for us?
Anything that the state comptroller will sign off on, I'd be willing to work with. I think my predecessor, or one of my predecessors, I think tried that once before, and I think the comptroller kind of came down on them.
That didn't go real well then. Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Right. That's right.
It didn't hurt for me to try. I'm just letting you know. Okay.
Hey,
Bart,
I'll
thank you
help
very
the best
much.
that I
Appreciate
legally
it.
can. All right. Thank y'all. If you have any questions, just give me a call.
Thank you. Okay.
All right.
Hey. Are you breaking for a minute?
Let's break for about 5 minutes. Okay, 5-10 minutes. Okay, we're gonna take a break for till about 9:20. right now, we're going to have attorney-client privilege, and we have Attorney Maroney here. We're going to take a little time to discuss something, and we'll be right back here in just very shortly.